Okay, this is episode number 4. Today is April 8th and we're going to start with transferring these plants from the AeroGarden into my raised bed. So I kept one in the AeroGarden, the big one, so I'll show you that later. But these are the two smaller ones, and I just simply pull it out of the AeroGarden, and then I'm taking it out here to put into my raised bed. And as you can see, the raised bed is still very wet from the rain, so this is a perfect time to do the transferring because the soil is all nice and moist. And here's the plant, and all I'm gonna do is yank it out because the roots are not tangled, so it's very easy to just pull out of the net cup here. So these are two different kinds. One I label it the large, and the other one is with the hook, and that's the hook one here. Actually, this is the large and this is the one with the hook here. So I'm gonna just dig a hole right there next to my asparagus here, and then I'll just plant them in there just like that. Okay, let me go ahead and finish that up. Alright guys, here they are. This is my Hornet F4, and that is the one with the hook, and this is the F4, that is large. They're actually from the same parent plant, but I just label it differently because I collect seeds from two different pots just to see if there's a difference. But I put them right there because that's where the sun hits the most. Alright guys, it has been 2 days since I transplanted the AeroGarden plants out here, and they are doing fine. So today we are going to transfer the rest of them into this bed. So these are the Hornets, and I have some more. There's so many, so I may have to put a few here and then a few over here. So we'll start with that one over there, and this is pretty easy to do because the roots are not very bounded. You just pull it out and that's it, and put it in the soil. So we're gonna do that real quick. Okay, here we are, and this is the reason why I started to do only one plant per container, because of how easy it is to pull them out. If you have multiple plants like these, it's gonna be a challenge, so I'll show you how to do that as well. But for this, you just kind of like work your way, soften the soil, and then you just flip it over. See, and it comes right out. And then just dig a hole and put them in. And you want to not disturb the roots too much because it'll take time to recover if you do that. So you want to dig a hole and then deep enough for the cup to go in, and then just plant them. Okay, and once you transplanted them into the soil, give it a good thorough water. Alright, that's it. So let me go ahead and finish this bed, and then I'll show you what they look like. Alright guys, I have completed one bed, and these are all of the Hornets. And as you can see, the spacing is very small, but that's okay. That's all the space I have. Man, these guys are gonna grow humongous. Let me give you an example of how large they get. This is it right here. This is how big they can get, and they get bigger than that. See, this guy has been pruned and all that stuff, so that's why you only see bare branches. But that's the size of them. Okay, and for the cups, go ahead and put it back into your storage room to be used next year. So I will continue with the rest of these, and these are lemon starburst and scarlet rose, and these are white Thai. So I'll continue, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Alright guys, I have more done here, this raised bed, and I decided to put lemon starburst and the scarlet rose because they're cousins. So this first row here, all of those are lemon starburst, and then the second row, these big large ones here, those are scarlet roses, and then more lemon starburst that I started a long time ago that for a trial, and they have been eaten up but they're still alive, so those guys will come back. Okay, and next up we have some Khang red and yellow, and they are gonna go here. So if you notice, there are multiple plants in a single container, so I'm gonna show you how I take it out. This is really not recommended because once you disturb the roots, it takes a while to get back, you know, on their track. So try to grow only one plant per container if possible. These are the yellow, so we're gonna try to take them out. You see? So the roots are all tangled up in there. So what we need to do is loosen them up so we can take them out easily. And to do that, you just need to apply some water. And then you can gently remove them. See, they come right out. That's one. It's like a web. Okay, that's two here. And we got three. And then this last one. Okay, let's start the planting. Alright guys, I have completed transferring everything into where they need to go. And here are the pots and cups and stuff that will be reused next season. So let's go ahead and do a walkthrough again so I can show you. Okay, these are the lemon starburst and scarlet rose. The first bed. This is the hornet here, two different kinds. Hopefully they produce different type of pods because that's what I'm hoping. And I have one Scotch brain right there in this herb bed. Okay, and that is my super pekin. That's just not the one we did today. Oh, and the lemon that I was telling you about, here it is right here. So I thought this lemon tree was going to die. Look at that, it has little tiny shoots coming out here. So I think it's gonna come back to life pretty soon. And in this lettuce bed I have some Texas crimson bonnet and then one Scotch brain. Oh, these are extra white tie I need to put away. And here are all of the white tie in the single bed by themselves. And I have Khang red, Khang yellow, and the Linzo all here. And then here are the Misery Sweet. I may put a few more here. Oh, I forgot to mention, see, these here are like almost dead because they've been chewed off by bugs that are in the soil. See? So they're still making a comeback. So those are lemon starburst that I transferred a long time ago. It's just not growing because they've been eaten. Okay, so today is April 10th. So I'll come back to let you see in the next update if they grow any. Okay, and the individual pots here, the fabric pots, these are Scotch brains. Right there's. And this is a very special cross of my own that I will review later. Some white Thai right here, the purple kind. And these are also a variety, a cross of my own as well, so I will show you guys that later as well. These are Super Pekin, not grown too well. Crimson Starr. Oh man, I forgot about that Reaper. I need to transplant him. And some tomatoes. These are propagated lemon starburst. This is a lemon starburst that's fruiting. And lemon starburst propagated. This is a Franken tree here. Let me show you something really cool. So I took off of the tape. You see it healed up nicely right there. So all nice in that section right there. That's where the graft was, and now it's healed. So it's all good to go. Some herb and a bunch of ground cherry. Alright guys, I have completed transferring everything, and now it's time to fertilize the older plants. Now you don't want to transplant the plant and then fertilize right away. Just wait until the transplanted plants have established, and then you can do some fertilizing. So for the old plants that have already been established, this is what I've been fertilizing them with. The fish fertilizer. This thing smells so bad, but it's really good for the plant. So I like to keep things very simple, and I don't use all kinds of crazy different things. I try to use one thing for the entire season, and this is what I chose to go with, and it's been working great for me. So here's how we use it. And you always want to read the instructions here, and so follow that. But for me, I just usually go with what, like that. Just play it by ear. That's how I do it, but make sure you follow the chart there. And then you fill this up with water. Make sure it's mixed up nicely. Okay, now that I have mixed up everything nice and well with the water hose, and we're going to water the plants. So it's fairly simple. You just give it a little bit. Like that. Alright, let's go inside and check out the AeroGarden plant. Alright guys, here is the plant that is left in the AeroGarden, and man, it is growing like every day. So every day I come out, I notice that I have to move the light up a little bit because the plant just grows so fast. So it's already starting to flower, and that flower there already has pollen, so pretty soon I will have a fruit for that right there. And it is starting to branch out, so there's gonna be a lot more soon. And I like to keep the light as low as possible. That would give the plant plenty of energy to grow these thick shoots here in the branches, and there's trunk and stuff like that. And as it grows, I just move it up. So that's usually how I do it. And by the time it reaches the AeroGarden capacity, it's going to be a very, very large plant. Anyway, that is all for now. We will be back soon, and I will update you guys on the plants outside. Alright guys, it has been exactly 2 weeks since the transplant, and before we go outside to show you what the plants look like, I want to show you the AeroGarden plant. And this is the same hornet that we started at the same time with some of the other plants outside, but because it's in the hydro setup, it grew way faster than the one in soil. And it's already blooming, so there's a lot of flowers right here. But because I need this unit to grow tomatoes, I need to remove this pepper plant out and take it outside. So let's go ahead and do the transplant, and then we'll go through and see the rest of the one that's already outside. Alright guys, here we are outside, and this is a plant that is going to go in here. So notice it's way larger than all of the other plants. Let me show you one of the one that it's kind of larger than the rest. That's a Scotch brain right there. And the Scotch brain actually started before this guy. But let me show you the root system. Look at this. Okay, so I'm gonna have to try to work my way and remove this mass and then not damage it, and then fit that into here. So your soil mix, it should be something nice, fluffy and soft and drain easily. And then for the first few days after transplant, you're gonna have to keep it out of the sun. So I say up to a week, and then keep the soil wetter than usual, and just monitor and make sure that this does not get too much sun. It can get morning sun, which is fine, but the afternoon sun will probably destroy it. So we're gonna have to condition it like new plants, getting it acclimated and all that before we actually expose it to full sun. So anyway, let me go ahead and take that out of here and then put that into this bucket, and then I will show you what it looks like. Okay guys, I was able to remove the plant, and I think I damaged a lot of the roots, but it came out just fine, and some of the roots are still intact, so that's a good sign. And I removed the AeroGarden cup. I just cut it open and pull it out because we don't want any kind of restriction. So here it is. We're gonna put this into this bucket here, and the soil I'm using is manure and compost, and then I mixed in some of the mulch, which is really finely composted mulch, and that should give the soil good drainage. So the soil should be nice and soft. You don't want to use compacted soil, like anything that's too much like clay. You don't want to use that. Here's the soil that I used. I mixed my own. So it's manure and compost and a bunch of the other softer soil, and it gives it a really good, nice consistency that's really soft. So we're going to put the plant in here. So keep it like that, and then add some soil. And you kind of gently lift it, kind of like to extend the roots a little. All right, now we just need to add some water. And as I mentioned, you want it wetter than usual because the plant just came out of hydro. So if you keep the roots too dry, it'll cause the plant problems. Okay, and let that drain through, and that is all. So that's my transplant, and look at how large it is right now. Okay, so that's the plant. So we're gonna keep it in the shade so that it's gonna stay under my patio for a week, and then I will slowly expose it to full sun, and then after that I'll take it out into full sun all day long. Okay, so that is the hydro plant. So let's go and show you the rest. Alright guys, we'll continue with the rest of the other plants, and here is my Scotch brain. This guy was struggling a little bit, so under the full sun, so I took it out and put it in the shade. It gets morning sun, afternoon shade, so it's recovering really well. And I'll give you a sneak peek of a few plants that I'm starting here outdoor. These are the mini white hab, Yucatan white hab. Some of my crosses. That's my bonnet right there. That's the Racha bonnet. And this is the I think Pequeño. Look at this swap. This guy's been here all day just circling this container. That's my Habana 2000 tobacco plant that I'm trying to start. Cucumber plants. Okay, here is the plant under the tree, and this is my Franken Pepper, and that is the Super Pekin at the top, and the Crimson Starr at the bottom. Both of them are starting to flower. This is my Starburst, and the fruits are probably gonna ripen very soon. This is an early fruit, so it looks pretty ugly. Shiso looking beautiful. Some tomatoes. These are the sun sugar. This is a reaper, and that's my propagated lemon starburst. And look at this pot here full of herbs and sisho and some ground cherry. So I got a bunch of ground cherry everywhere. I mean, there's like 100 in here. I just left them in there. Okay, this is one of my cross. I had two, one of it died. It was so hot one of these days, and then it became really cold. The weather has just been crazy. As soon as I transplanted these guys outside, it dropped to 39 degrees, so it kind of struggled a little bit. And then for a week, it stayed cold until now. Okay, and here is a super pekin. This is one of the special cross. White tie here. These are the purple one, but now they are starting to turn green. Super pekin here. Artichoke. That's the crimson star. And this is the Asian pear that I started from seed. Okay, and this is the DWC to cracky plant. I chopped it down entirely, so that's all that's left of it. It should recover because it has new buds forming already. And that is my ground cherry. Jabuticaba. I'm really excited about that plant, but it doesn't seem to be growing too much. Okay, and this bed here is lemon starburst, scarlet rose, and some of the early lemon starburst that got eaten up, but it's starting to come back. And this is the black boot. Okay, look at these lettuce, man, they're just doing awesome. Okay, so those are the lemon starburst right here. Scarlet rose, it grew a little bit. As you can see, the leaves are like kind of like really crazy and stressed looking. That's what happened when you transplant these guys outside and it gets exposed to wind, heat, and then cold and all that stuff. So it should bounce back very soon. So these are the ones that got eaten up. They're coming back strongly. So the sun finally got all the way covering everything, so it should be doing really well soon. And here is the Racha hornet bed. Everything in here is the Racha hornet. I got my sisho there. I love these herbs. It's very cool and beautiful to grow and easy to maintain. It may give my plant a little shade, so we'll see. And then I have Scotch Brain in there. That's my super pekin. That's one of the larger plants that I have. Solar power hydroponic tomato. There is the Scotch Brain over there, looking really nice. This is one of my crosses, the Sweet Misery. That one got eaten up here. See, there's bugs in the soil. I think they're roly-polies. So in the evening it'll come out and then it'll chew on the leaves. I tried to cover it, but that didn't work because they came out of the soil. Remember that lemon right there that I thought was dying? So it came back. It's growing really well. Okay, and in this bed we have some Texas Crimson Bonnet right there, and then a Scotch Brain over here. Some lettuce. These are romaine. I harvest these guys every few days and they just keep growing and keep producing, so it's very nice. Okay, here are the white tie. All of them are white ties. So I grew a bunch of them. See there? They grew a little bit since the first time we transplanted, but they should start to grow much more in the coming week because the weather is getting really warm now. Okay, and here we have a bunch more. So let's see what I have here. This is the Khang red and Khang yellow, and over there we have the Linzo, my baby's pepper. Very cool looking. And onions, tons of onions. I keep cutting these guys, they keep growing back. And then Misery Sweet, man, these guys are like struggling like crazy. They're grown in my composted bed, so as you can see, there's just like stuff everywhere. See, those are probably ground cherry. These are probably watermelon. Bunch of tomato. Look, I pulled all these tomatoes out. And then ground cherry, and those are asparagus, elephant garlic. So there you have it, guys. That is the update after 2 weeks of transplant. They're all doing really well, not growing much, but in the next update you should see much more progress. So that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned.